This is lesson 4 of the mirrored math voice to or sign of voice. So none of you really struggle with word problems, right? You all pretty much understand that. All the English word order, okay, that's good. Well, today we're going to start on fractions. They are tough. Some of them are very complex and kind of hard to figure out, but that's okay, we'll explain it. So you can pair fractions up. It's better not to, but there's a couple of different ways to figure out fractions. We'll do both ways. So you can multiply the numerators. So if you multiply 3 times 15x, what do you get? Okay, 45x, right? Because 3 doesn't have an x, but 15x does. So if you combine them, you have to include that x. Okay, now let's go to the denominator. 10 times 9 is how much? 90, okay. So can we reduce this? Yes, we can, good. We can reduce it by 45. That's our answer, right? Okay, that's done. Now how did we do this? If we don't simplify it, then it's too much to work with. So my suggestion to you, in life, when you have some big complicated problem, like if you were driving and you're going far, but you find a shortcut, that's simplifying. Same thing as what the same thing that we can do in math. Now, the other way to figure out this problem is, see the 3 tenths and the 15x and the 9. So what can we do? Tell me, what are we going to do? If we have the 3 and the 9, right. So we can simplify that. Now that's 3. Now what are we going to do with the 10 and the 15x? Right. 5 can go into both of them. Okay. See, now we're not done. We have a couple more steps. We have a 3 and a 3. Right. So 5 or higher with in the numerators. So we don't have a 5, we don't have a 5 there. What's left? X. Right. Now we have a 2 and a 1. We'll multiply them. Get 2. X over 2, right on. That's short enough, right? Alright, you got it. Now, next problem. What do we do first? We have the 6 and the 2. So 6 divided by 2. Let's divide it by 2. Know what we'll do. Right, divide by 5. Are we done? Are we done? No. Okay, what are we gonna do? Right. That's our answer. Good job. Got it. Now next problem. Now that we've added on to this problem, but don't freak out. Remember to hold on to the whole numbers. First focus on them, then move on to the next section. First the numbers and the letters, because otherwise you'll get overwhelmed. So remember, focus on the numbers. So we have 6 and 8. What do we do? Right, divide by 2. Good. We have 5 and 3. Not that 3. So we're done with the numbers. Now the letters. Now You can reduce. You can't reduce. You have to subtract. You can't divide. You have to subtract. So now we have x, and we have x in the numerator, y in the denominator. So you can cross multiply. So that x doesn't have a number, but it's 1. So 4 subtracted 1, that's 3, right? So we'll put 3 there. Okay, now we have the y's left. What do? Right, we can subtract. Which number's bigger? The bottom number, right? The denominator. That's it. So now, let's see, okay. We have a 3x to the third over here, 3 here, left, in the numerators. Then we have 5y to the second, and a 4. We don't want to get overwhelmed, so that's why I put them in boxes. But so now we're going to multiply. So now we have 9x to the third, okay, and what do we have here? We'll multiply the 5, the y, and the 4. Right. 20y to the second power. We don't need to reduce it. We've already reduced. Simplified as much as we can. We're all done. Now, remember, that first way, there's a lot of thinking and a lot of figuring out that you have to do, but this is much faster. We'll go ahead and do another one. Do you remember the word factor? What's the sign for factor? Factor like this. It's like throwing it away, figuring it out, and then we'll get to the answer, so that's a factor. So we don't need to do anything to that numerator. How about this bottom here? Remember distributive? That's what we're going to do here. We're going to, do you remember what you can do to figure out this? We'll have 6. That's the inside-outside. So we'll put a here, plus, we have to carry down this addition sign, and then 6, 24 into 6, how much? 4. That's it. That's enough. We factored it out. Now, if you want to check it, you can multiply like this, the insides and then the outsides, and you'll get the same that you have at the top. Right, so my suggestion is always to factor when possible to simplify it. Then you're done with that. Now let's move on to over here. So what goes into this equation? 4, right? So 4a plus 4, right? Now that's done. Done with that. A plus 3, can we do anything? No? Okay. So we've simplified just like we did with these other problems. We have our A's, and our 4's. That's the same, so we can cross that out. And we can simplify that, 3 into 2, right? So that's done. A plus 5. So now what can we do? We multiply these together, right? 2a plus 5, and the denominators. That's it. That's all. Any questions? No? Okay, good. All right, let's keep going. We have two more. So we're going to factor with 2. We're going to use the FOIL method first, then the outside, the inside, and the last. Okay. So now we're going to factor using the FOIL method. So we'll put our x's here in the first spot. Now look at this. two plus signs or two addition signs. If you have two, then you add them together. Put them both down. The last here is 42. So if we factor that, whatever the two numbers we get that goes into 42, they have to also add together to be 13. So what's a multiple of 42 they can add together to get 32? 13. Right, 6 and 7. Good job. So x 6 and then x plus 7 together, you can get 13x, right? That's our double checking. So now we're done with this line. Let's move on to the denominator. We have to factor this out. So 40. What number goes into 45? Okay, hold on. What numbers together will multiply 40 and then come to 3? Think you're dead? No? Okay. What? So we have 10, 2 is 20, 5 and 7, 8. Sorry. 5 and 8. So what do we do here? Do we put in a subtractive sign or an addition sign? Right. Perfect. So now we're done with that. Right, good answer. What do we do here? Right, we can cross them out. Now what do we have left? X plus 7 and x plus 5. That's it. It's not complicated, it's really easy. Okay, let's go to our last one. We're not going to factor this. We don't need to. Do we need to factor this bottom one? Can we factor it? Yes, we can. But let me warn you. Remember, there's a y there. Same with these other equations. It has to be to the right. It can't go to the right. It has to go to the left. It can't go to the right. So, if we factor it, what do we get? 2 right. Right. Done? That, right. Okay. Now we will need to factor this. So, factoring 20 and subtracted has to come to 1. What is it? 5 and 4. Good job. And we have two negatives, so what do we put? Negative and a positive, right? So we're done with that. Good. That we can leave. So that's all we have left, right? Those are the same, so we can cancel them out. We're simplifying, guys. So, does this go into this? Right, we can simplify here. Now don't forget the negatives. It's important, I will be checking this. So what can we do with these guys? What can we do? Right. Simplify again to make this a. What about this? Right, b to the 5th. So now we have left 3a, y plus 4, b to the 5th, 4, and negative 1. Now let's focus on the numbers. We can combine the numerators. Come up with that. Okay. So we have a negative 1 and b to the 5th. So how are we going to do that? What can we do? So that's the multiplication sign. Do we multiply them? Come on. You know this. negative 1 times 5 negative, or I'm sorry, b to the 5th, right, negative b fifth. That's it. Oh, that's right, we have the 4. I forgot, sorry. So, negative 4, right. And there's our answer. Any questions on any of this? No? I think you got it. You have to be careful. But, I think you got it. That's it. Good. That was section 4, or lesson 4 of the mirrored math.